This is Mark Rober, and currently he has 65 million subscribers, and every single month, 500 million people watch his videos. Yeah. Today I want to break down the success of Mark's channel. How did he go from nothing to millions of subscribers? And the crazy thing is he only has 200 videos on his channel. To have 65 million subscribers and only 200 videos, that's a serious accomplishment. My name is Nathan, and this is the Blueprint channel where we teach creators how to build valuable attention. And last month we were actually at Mark's studio filming some videos with him, and we saw a little bit of the behind the scenes of how his team operates. It was impressive. When I was growing my YouTube channel from 0 to 1 million subscribers, one of the biggest problems I had was creativity. Being a content creator is all about being creative, but sometimes it's hard and ideas are messy, unorganized, all over the place. So that's why I developed Blueprint. Think of your blueprint as your brain as a content creator. This is a place where you can store and organize all of your video ideas, your content calendar, your release dates, your filming dates, your video scripts, your thumbnails, all connected in one place. Me and my team built this as a tool that we could use for our YouTube channels, but now it's time to share it with the world. And the best part about it is that it's 100% free. You can make an account today, right now, using this link right here, or check the link in the top of the description. I promise you'll love it. So that's crazy, but to understand the success of Mark's channel, we gotta go back to some of his first videos nearly 13 years ago. If you don't know Mark, or you haven't seen his videos, he is a former NASA engineer. So pretty much all of his videos are about engineering, testing things, and building robots and inventions that don't really exist. And we're gonna break down Mark Rober's success into 4 different categories. And the great thing about it is you can learn a lot from these categories and actually apply them to your own YouTube channel or your own business. So definitely be sure to take some notes. The first ever Mark Rober video, iPad Halloween costume, gaping hole in torso. He basically took an iPad, taped it to his chest, and allowed you to see through it so it looked like he had a hole in his stomach. This is the first ever Mark Rober video. That's pretty insane, but then again, he is an engineer. And then some of his other videos are some pretty crazy ideas, like a NASA pumpkin carving contest, or easy Pinewood Derby car wins. That was a big thing, because personally I was in Boy Scouts. I sucked at building those cars. Or what about this one? Heat map microwave, a new invention. So a lot of his ideas are about engineering, and right out of the gate, his ideas are already kind of interesting. But what's special about these videos 10 years ago on YouTube is there wasn't very many engineering channels on YouTube. Most of this stuff you would see on TV, like Discovery Channel or Mythbusters or stuff like that. So this gives Mark a huge advantage being so different in the YouTube space 10 years ago. But in reality, all Mark was doing was just leaning into his strengths. Now, of course, not everyone is an engineer, but Mark was an engineer. So that is his strength. That is his ability to make good content. So being able to lean into that strength and make it a piece of your YouTube channel is a huge advantage. This is something we talk about in Blueprint University on how you can focus on your strengths and how you go from a cook to a chef, develop your own path of content creation, and that's how you begin to go viral. For example, when I started YouTube, I didn't really have any strengths. I was just a kid playing Minecraft. That's all I did. It really was not something special. But over time, as I grew my YouTube channel and stayed consistent with my content, eventually I realized that my strength was being able to turn my childhood dreams into a reality. And there wasn't very many people doing that on YouTube. I was building life-size Lego houses. I was doing bowling challenges. I was making the world's safest Lego house. I was making a cat maze. I filled my house with ball pit balls, turned it into a beach, filled it with packing peanuts. All of these things are my childhood dreams coming true, but I realized that was my strength when it comes to YouTube. Everyone has a different strength, and sometimes you realize what your strength is when you're years and years into the process of making videos. But Mark, for example, his strength was right in the beginning. He was an engineer on day 1 when he started YouTube. As Mark uploaded more videos, his ideas and engineering got more advanced, like a snowball machine gun? Or what about how to survive a grenade blast? Or personally, one of my favorites, the world's largest Nerf gun, which he completely custom built. Now we're really seeing Mark lean further and further into his strengths because he's able to identify a really good idea for YouTube, and he's also an engineer, so he can execute on it and actually make that idea come to a reality. The second thing I want to discuss is trends. Now, this is one of the big things that allowed Mark to capitalize and focus on big ideas. It's pretty obvious that on YouTube, you have to have a good video idea, a good title, and a good thumbnail to get someone to click on your video. That's obvious, right? Pretty much everyone knows that. Now, the question is, how do you make a good video idea? How do you make a good thumbnail? Obviously, that's difficult. But the other part of the puzzle that a lot of people don't think about is how much demand is behind your video idea. How big is the audience behind your video idea? If we look at a video like this, first place mousetrap car ideas, that's a really good video. I think it's kind of cool and unique, but there's only so much demand behind that idea. There's only so many people that care about mousetraps and cars and something unique like this. So that means that there is a limit of supply on this demand because there's only so many people that are interested in watching a video like that. So of course, Mark, being the genius engineer that he is, he realized that that was a constraint of his YouTube channel. So he started focusing on trends. He started focusing on bigger things that had a bigger pool of demand, a bigger audience ready to watch them. And this is where his Porch Pirate series started 6 years ago. This video has 92 million views. Now, he's done a whole series of Porch Pirate videos, getting hundreds of millions of views. But the reason I think he started this is because of a trend. Porch Pirates are basically people stealing packages off your porches, but it was actually a huge trend around the entire world. News stations were reporting it every single week. People were posting videos about it. Everyone was trying to not get their packages stolen. Companies were even coming out with inventions on better ways to lock your mailbox and secure your items and all of these different things. So of course, Mark wanted to capitalize on the trend. The next one, elephant toothpaste, was also a huge trend in the world of YouTube, with so many YouTubers online on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube trying the elephant toothpaste challenge. Of course, Mark had to hop on the trend, but he had to set a world record. And he's actually done this video multiple times and broken his own world record. But the other thing that I think is genius about Mark's channel is he didn't just focus on trends. He focused on the unanswered questions, the mysterious things you want to know about the universe, the world, animals, people, all of these things that we have questions for, but no solutions. A great example of this is testing if sharks can smell a drop of blood. Everyone knows that sharks can smell blood, and it's in every single movie, every single scary film. But the question is it actually true? This is an unanswered question. He also did another follow-up to this video, Shark Attack Test, Human Blood versus Fish Blood, 118 million views. Another unanswered question is the carnival scam science. Everyone knows that carnivals are kind of like scams, and they're rigged in a way to get you to pay a lot of money and win hardly nothing. So this is a video proving that. Or what about this video, bed bugs? What you've been told is totally false. That is an interesting idea. I want to know if all the things I hear about bed bugs are true. What answers do I need? My point is that Mark is an absolute genius at thinking of video ideas, and he's really good at making video ideas about unanswered questions and solving them through the process of filming his videos. Which leads me to the next point. Number 3 is the filming and editing process of a Mark Rober video, because this might be one of the most important things. Now, if you haven't seen one of Mark's videos, I would highly recommend watching one of his really good videos because it is such an engaging process and it's so different than any video that I've seen. First off, every time I watch a video, I learn something different, but even more importantly is I feel like I'm along the journey with him because he shows the process of engineering something and taking something from an idea to reality. I just watched this video. My puzzle robot is 200 times faster than a human, and the cool thing about this video is he shows the entire process of him designing and engineering this robot. He shows the failures, all the attempts, and he said it took him years to get to this point, which is just insane. Filming your videos in this style is super valuable because of 2 reasons. Number one is the viewer feels like they're along the experience with Mark. They're going through the process, they're troubleshooting, they're trying to figure out the solution. And that's just super valuable from a viewer's perspective, because I think this video would have been totally different if the robot was 100% complete in the beginning of the video and he didn't show you how he actually made the robot. It honestly would not make the video very interesting. And the second thing is that you get sucked into the process of him creating this video, because think about it, you're halfway through watching this video and he hasn't figured out the solution yet. You don't want to click off the video. You want to watch till the end of the video because you want to see, how does he solve this? How does he figure out this robot? And more importantly, does it actually work? And this is why Mark is just such a genius, because not only is he great at thinking of video ideas, but he's also great at designing and I guess engineering the structure of his video in a way that you want to watch the entire process till the end and figure out the solution with him. And that brings me to our fourth lesson, which actually has nothing to do with his YouTube channel. It has something to do with his company that is becoming massive. And there's a huge lesson we can learn here. So this is Mark's company. It's called Crunch Labs. And basically it's an engineering box that gets delivered to your doorstep every single month and you pay a subscription. When we were there touring Mark's studio, I can say that they put a lot of effort, a lot of time into the design and engineering of these boxes. It is honestly insane. They have a team of like 70 people that work on this. You pay $24 a month, and apparently Mark has over 100,000 people subscribed to this. I don't know if that's actually true, but he said it in a podcast, which means that Mark is making $3 million a month on this. That's insane. But the more important thing here is what I want to talk about is PMF, which in the venture capitalist world, we call it product market fit. Now, I'm not really in the venture capitalist world, but I like to think I am, maybe. I'm a YouTuber. I mean, come on. PMF is the ability for a product to sustain a certain market, to have a lot of demand in a market, to basically be perfectly fit. And that is exactly what Mark has done. I mean, just think about it. His entire YouTube channel is about engineering, solving problems, and finally building something at the end of the video. And now, Mark's new company, Crunch Labs, you can do that same thing in your house. Every single month, you get a different project to work on, a different thing to engineer, a different thing to test and problem solve in your own home. You're basically taking a Mark Rober video and taking it off of YouTube and putting it in your own living room. On top of that, it's super valuable because you're actually learning something, so obviously parents love it. They're teaching their kids something. It is just a genius idea. Because the thing is once you build a big YouTube channel, you want to figure out what's next. You can only get hundreds of millions of views for so long. So then you have to basically push all of your audience over to a certain product, a certain thing, a subscription, whatever it is. So then you can sustain that longevity over time. And Mark has a perfect product market fit. His product perfectly aligns with his YouTube channel. And on top of that, Mark even has an entire YouTube channel dedicated just to Crunch Labs, the company, which I think is crazy. And he has a lot of videos on here where he makes big scale versions of the little boxes that you get in your house. I just think he's a genius. I mean, he's an engineer for a reason. Sometimes being a YouTuber is not just about making videos, but how can you actually bring the experience of your videos into the home, into the lives of your very own fans? This is something genius that Disney was able to do. If you think about it, Disney started as just making cartoons and animations and movies, and then eventually they were like, how can we bring this experience to life? And then they made all of their theme parks. And then obviously the rest is history. Disney is a multi-billion-dollar company. And I think Mark could possibly be on the same path. Thank y'all for watching this video. All I ask is for you guys to subscribe. It's completely free. Every single week we post videos on this channel teaching you guys how to get millions of views, millions of subscribers. So please subscribe and definitely share this video if you learned something. But let me know in the comment section below, which creator should I review next? I'll review anyone, just let me know. And hopefully you guys learned something. I'll see you later.